Oh, all right, everybody, welcome back. So, I know it's been a little bit. I've been kind of busy with some stuff, so I do apologize. But I'm still trying to pump out as many videos as I can for you guys, so you guys have, some content. Um, I've been catching up on some case knives recently. I did a I did a decent amount purchases and trades to get to my little collection that I have now, and I'm gonna show that to you guys a little bit later. But this one kind of got my attention because I don't really see too many videos, if very many at all, of this particular model of Cold Steel Ti Lite 6-inch. So I might as well just go ahead and do that. So let's talk blades, everybody. That's what we're into. I actually bit my tongue that time. Let's talk blades, everybody. That's what we're into today. I have for you guys the 6-inch G10 Ti Lite. It's all blacked out with the DLC coating, and oh man, the black hardware. This thing is all ninja'd out for stealth battles, I would assume. This is very much like the very last Ti Lite video that I put out of the 6-inch with the S35 VN steel. Now this is the same steel. This is just a different look and a different handle. And a lighter feel overall, because that last one that was aluminum, all aluminum, it came in at 9 ounces. This is 6 ounces. Yes, no? 7.1 ounces, excuse me. I had to look at the box. All right, so 7. Okay, yeah, 7 ounces. This one's. The one was 9 ounces. So yeah, that's, what, 2 ounces? 2 ounces different. I mean, it does feel, to me, it feels a lot lighter. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the specs because it's on the box anyways. Here it is, blade length 6 inches, overall length 13 inches, so it's the same exact length as the other one. You got your S35 VN with the DLC coating, which, if you guys don't know what DLC means, it's diamond-like coating. It's better than their older stuff, I can say. Their older stuff would always chip, and just, it was so easy to wear the blade down. Now it's, they stepped it up a notch. The weight comes in at 7.1 ounces. The blade thickness is 4 millimeters, and the handle is at 7 inches of freaking G10. So yeah, you're looking at a decent amount of G10. So nothing really too fancy here. There's bubble wrap on the inside that holds the knife. You got your cold steel warranty information, just in case you guys are curious about that. There's really nothing else. That box is practically trash. I practically saved it for you guys. You guys can see it just in case. There are some people out there that want to see it. And yes, I was carrying it today. And today is my first day carrying it, and I got to tell you, the weight, there's a huge difference. At least to me, it feels like a huge difference. Now here it is in all of its glory. I'm going to turn on my light so you guys can see that just a little bit better. Now I'm gonna tell you guys this just off of first hand. I've noticed that the aluminum handles, excuse me, the aluminum handle 6-inch Ti Lite, the circles, the carvings that you see here, okay, these circles that are drilled in are rounded out, so they're smoothed out on all the little entrances. So it makes it kind of just a tad wee bit slippery, in my opinion. I mean, it's still grippy, still works, but because of the material and the fact that they rounded off and smoothed out the inside circles, it makes it to where the grip isn't exactly where I'd like it to be. And I was fighting with myself for the longest time because I wanted this one. But there's a huge price difference. The aluminum 6-inch Ti Lite was 100. Well, now it's 120 at the time of I'm making this video. It's 120 bucks. This one is almost 200, so this one's 198 and change. That's just going off of Blade HQ. I'm pretty sure other places have different prices. You might want to double check that. But this is almost a $200 knife. Why? I don't know. I was trying to figure that out. Same blade steel, just has the DLC coating on it and the G10. I'm pretty sure, and I know I probably answered my own question just by saying that, because it has the G10 and because it has the coating on there, I guess it makes it $100 more. I don't know, or $80 more if you want to get technical. Now, one thing I really like about this is when I am holding it, you can tell that this makes for a better grip. If they didn't smooth out the inside of the circles, it actually makes better grip. It's a lot lighter and it feels just a smidge top heavy because the blade is obviously metal, and this material being a lighter substance, it makes it to where it's just it's literally just a smidge, just a tiny bit top heavy. But that doesn't mean that's bad. It's really good because it cuts the weight down, in my opinion. So now there is a little bit of a balance point here, and it's a little bit different. If that matters to anybody, the balance point is right there. So right at these circles right here on the bottom side. So there is a balance point. Now, whether or not if you're trying to get the aluminum, or if you're trying to figure out whether you want the G10, if you want something lighter, go for the G10. If you want something that's got a bit of heft to it and a little bit of weight, you're looking at the aluminum. If you just want to go all cheap, then you can actually get the Zytel version, which I do have, but it's in the original AUS 8 steel. But they stepped it up a notch. I've been wanting to get a Ti Lite, a 6-inch Ti Lite in their carpenter steel. But I chose not to do that because they stopped production on it, and now it's just if you're able to find it, it's a bit expensive, and I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. I think S35VN, from what I heard from one of my blade snobs who knows, steel snobs, I should call him. He told me that S35VN is actually a step up from CTS XHP carpenter steel. Now I don't know. I don't know too much about the steels. All I know is that carpenter steel was told to me as a super steel. It keeps a decent edge, and it's reasonably rust resistant. And it's it's just, the only thing is it's a pain to bring the edge back when it comes to sharpening. That's what I was told. I never had to sharpen any of my carpenter steel blades. I've only kept those blades strictly for self-defense because they're a decent steel, or should be way more than a decent steel. Super steel is what I was told they were. Now, the thing is about this, if you don't care about the steel, then it shouldn't matter. But I can tell you that this is way better. S35VN is way better, or carpenter steel is way better than AUS 8. AUS 8 is fine. It doesn't really hold an edge very well, but it's really decent to get an edge back. So, I mean, to some people that doesn't matter. To me, I just, it just depends. I don't want it to go dull while it's sitting in my pocket. You know what I mean? Obviously I'm exaggerating, but there are times when it just feels like that. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys what I really like about this. Now, if you see the ports right here, the little holes, you can actually see through this, which means you can see the blade on the inside. See that? You can actually see the blade in there. I don't know why, but that's a small thing. That's super cool to me. I really, really enjoy that. Now, one thing I've noticed, if I flip it this way, you can see, and it's all blacked out, it has one steel liner, and that's for the lock bar. So if you see that steel liner right there, you can see that that's just a single steel liner. And then this side is nothing, you don't see the other side with anything, which is why you can see through those ports, and you can actually see the I want to say this confidently, the Zyx or Zytel backspacer, because I know this isn't aluminum, this backspacer right here. I know it's plastic. I can tell because there's a drip off point right here where it breaks off, and you can tell that was something that they just snapped off and then put a part into this knife. And I can tell that it's just plastic. So It's their proprietary plastic, and I'm pretty sure it's their Zyx durable military grade plastic, whatever, super awesomeness, better than normal plastic, cold steel. Anyways, if you look at the other Zytels, Ti Lites, excuse me. If you look at the other 6-inch Ti Lites, they have 2 liners. So you can't see on the inside. This is the only model that I know of, the all blacked out version with the blacked out hardware. The screws are all blacked out, which is really nice. The blade's all blacked out. Everything is stealthed out, I guess. It doesn't have that. So this is really nice. It only has one main liner in there. And I think that's really cool. I actually dig that. You know, I pay attention to the small things. So now, does it make this knife worth the $200? In my personal opinion, and of course you got the DLC coating on there, I don't think it's really worth that. I mean, I could probably understand if it went up about $50, you know, like instead of, you know, but 200, I don't know. You know what? I don't make the prices, but I don't know. I like this one way better. I was going to actually take this and swap blades on it and hardware. I was going to swap the screws for the aluminum, so that way the aluminum Ti Lite has the black blade, and the G10 Ti Lite that I'm holding right now, this guy has the gray blade. I was going to do that. I might do it later, but I don't think I want to do it right now, only because I actually kind of like this look. I didn't think I was going to, but I really do. And their DLC coating actually does make it look pretty attractive, just as is. So really cool stuff, really awesome. I really do dig that. You got that lock bar right there, which is super, super strong. There's absolutely no blade play on any of my Ti Lites. None of them. 6-inch, 4-inch, old and new, up to date. Classics. There's no blade play. Now, if there is any blade play, then obviously I would send it into Cold Steel and, you know, WTF, mate. But I haven't done that. I've never had to. So this, you know, their stuff is rugged. It's built to last. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the specs just so you guys can, you know, see how much this thing weighs and all that good and happy jargon. Yeah, and I probably really shouldn't, you know, because I already did a review on this exact knife. All right, so the box says what? 7.1 ounces, and this is weighing out at 7.4. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I gave it some love while it was sitting in my pocket. I have no idea why it's got, you know, 7.4. But whatever. You know what? It's fine. It's cool. This is an awesome piece anyways. Anyone I show it to, I mean, they have a wow face. So if you like that type of thing, then, you know, this is the knife for you. But the gimmick is it's ridiculously huge. So yeah, you're looking at 7 1/8 inches of handle. And I'm actually going to touch tones on just a little bit of a food for thought type thing in a minute here of my personal opinion on the change that I've noticed from Cold Steel. But I'm going to get to that in a minute. So yeah, you're looking at a total of 13 inches on this thing. It's over a foot long. Oh my gosh, dude. If you're looking for a Marshall blade that will probably make somebody pee a little bit if you pull it out in self-defense, this is your knife. Yeah, this is kind of a spooky, scary, bring it out only when you need to type knife, in my personal opinion. I keep saying that, my personal opinion. In my personal opinion. You know, not a lot of people care about opinions, but everyone's entitled to theirs, right? So, whatever. I like Cold Steel. I do. I very much enjoy Cold Steel. Oh, before I get into my personal thoughts here, even though I've already said a lot of it anyway. Get to the calipers, that way you guys know. Why am I doing that? I'm doing everything backwards, man. What the frick? All right, so you're looking at okay, I'm gonna have to turn it like this. 20.5. Okay, on the handle, and then 3.9 on the blade, if that matters to anybody. Yeah, I gotta say, any knife that I've carried in the past, any knife, I think the only one that, I mean, the very, very first actual knife that I was carrying on me from Cold Steel was the Ti Lite. It's the very, very first one. And not this humongous folding sword. I'm talking about just the regular 4-inch one with their regular Aussage steel. It's a very comfortable knife. And I love the fact that you can wave it out the pocket. Of course, I never knew what that was at the time. I just liked the idea of that, doing that. And that was around the time when my knife collection was relatively small. It had maybe less than 15 knives in there. And most of them were crap knives. They were just knives that, you know, you would get at a hardware store or at the mall or something. And they were the cheaper ones because, you know, at the time I was a kid and I wasn't making too much money, so I wasn't really getting into the more expensive knives. I didn't know anything about blade steels or anything like that. This brings me back to that time because of how much lighter it is and because of how much confidence this thing gives me. I mean, not for nothing. When you carry this thing, it does fit in the pocket. It does take up the length of your pocket, just the handle alone. When you're carrying this thing, it goes all the way in the pocket, and it literally does take up the length of your pocket. Now, it's not so wide as it is long, obviously, because you can tell just by looking at it. But what the thing is, you can still have something next to it. I keep my cell phone in the same pocket with this knife, and it's comfortable. And because it's 7 ounces, I actually don't really feel this thing as I work with this in my pocket the entire day. Didn't feel it. It's just, it felt fine. Like the aluminum one was different. That was a brick in my pocket. That was a humongous brick. And you know what? It wasn't like a huge deal. I could just tell the difference between the two. This is much lighter, but it is still the same size. So keep that in mind. It's a humongous knife. Now, when you're carrying this knife, you should probably couple it with something smaller, like a little small slip joint that you can drop in the back of your back pocket, and just so that way when if you ever have to, you don't have to take this out to cut something, so that way you don't look like a freaking, murderer with this thing. This is ridiculous. It's huge. And as Nick Shabazz would say, it's friggin' huge. I love Nick Shabazz. This thing is just a murdery tool. And it's designed to be used in self-defense or just whatever assholery, jackassery, I guess is what Nick Shabazz likes to call it, that you could do with this knife. It's plenty strong. It's long enough to keep a distance, to keep somebody at a distance anyways. It's a fantastic knife. Now, on to my slight personal issue with this knife. And this I've noticed that the very few recent Cold Steel knives that I've gotten, the 3 recent Cold Steel knives that I have received, they are not as sharp as I remember them to be. I do not know why. My original 6-inch Ti Lite, far sharper than this. I was cutting phone book paper, and it would cut really smooth in the very beginning, and then it would bind up about halfway through, in midsection. Now, when I take my original 6-inch Ti Lite and I cut through it, it cuts through it like butter. It cuts through it still to this day, cuts through phone book paper like air. It just cuts through it so well, like it was just out of the factory. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they downgraded how they sharpen these blades, but they're not as sharp as I remember them to be. That was scary sharp. This, not so much. And I don't know why. That's the only thing that bothers me. Both of them, the aluminum handle and this G10 handle, I've noticed they are not as sharp as I remember them to be. Maybe it's because, you know, S35VN might be a little bit more difficult to sharpen. But don't they have machines for that? Like, don't they have machines to really make sure that the blades are sharp no matter what? I mean, it's a functional, you know, sharpness. It works. But that's just my only gripe. I've noticed that. So just keep an eye out. Be knowledgeable about that. At least you guys know about it right now. I want to cut some paper right now, but I actually don't have any. I don't know why. I don't know where my paper is, but I'll try and save it for another video if I can. But I'm already kind of hitting my limit right now. So anyways, the Cold Steel Ti Lite G10 6-inch. It's a fantastic piece. I really do like it, and it is plenty strong and good for, you know, those type of ninja battles that you could be going through and you need something all blacked out and cool. So go ahead and slash that like button, stab that subscribe, slice that freaking bell icon so you guys are notified anytime I post new stuff. And in these crazy times, everybody, please be kind, be safe, carry responsibly, and I'll see you all awesome people in the next video.